Good morning, years 4, 5 and 6, and I hope you're all really well. I have an assembly just for you guys at the top of the school today, and it is an online safety assembly. I thought, seeing as we are recording assemblies anyway, I thought I'd do one just for you guys, because as you can imagine, the way that you use your devices online might be different to some of the children younger in the school, but also the trust that your parents have given you and some of the opportunities that you have to use the internet or your device in different ways will be different too. So I thought it was important that you had the messages just for you today. But without further ado, peace be with you. Thank you. So today's assembly is similar to one that I gave partway through lockdown actually, but I think it's really important at the moment because of something we are doing a lot more of right now, and we have been doing since March. There's a clue here in the picture, and the question I am asking is, what have we been doing more of lately? I'm sure you can guess, particularly from that picture. We have been spending a lot more time on our devices, and some of that has been absolutely because it's something that we should be doing. The minute that we weren't allowed to be out and about quite so much, it was really important that we had technology to bring us closer together. It was also important for our learning, so we spent a lot more time on screens because we might have been following some missions that our teachers had set during lockdown. And going into the summer, some of those habits might have continued. And there are lots of benefits to going online. It can be entertaining, informative, you can be creative, it can help you stay connected to others in different parts of the country and even different parts of the world. It might be that for some of your family members that you still can't see face to face, that you're using technology in that way. There are loads of fantastic reasons to be using technology, especially at the moment. But whenever there's benefits, there are also risks, and actually risks that I can't think of anything in life that you can do that doesn't come with some form of risk. And whether it's a risk of hurting yourself or becoming upset or feeling embarrassed, there can be risks to any actions that we take. So what are the risks when we are using our devices? And I know that you guys know this really well, but if you don't mind, I'd just like you to pause me just for a couple of minutes and try and think about some of the risks to do with using your devices. Super. You might have come up with things like talking to people that you don't know, giving away sensitive information. You might have spoken about using websites or games that aren't age appropriate and what risks that might bring to you as well, particularly with the video game ratings. So with these risks, remember, I am not saying that we should stop doing things. I think of the internet like an amazing road. And you might remember me saying this in assemblies last year. I think the internet can take you to wonderful places and you can do amazing things, and I wouldn't want you to stay at home and never get the chance to go and see those amazing places, just as I wouldn't want you to only be in your house all the time and never take a journey on the road to school. I mean, roads come with risks. There's traffic, there are chances that you may not be able to see around things, you could get lost, you could become confused about where you are. Roads come with risks, and so does the internet. But if you're able to safely navigate the internet, then those risks shouldn't really be a problem. And I'm sure that lots of you are doing the right things. And if you've spoken about those risks, it's probably because you were thinking that you were doing lots of the correct things to make sure that you are staying safe online. And you guys are fantastic at this. I'm going to ask you to pause me again, just for 2 minutes. And can I ask you to do some of the things, list some of the things that you can do to keep yourself safe online? Great. So I'm hoping that you came up with some of these that I'm about to read out, and it might be that you think you're doing all of these things all the time. So not giving out your personal information, not giving away passwords or important information, only making friends with people online that you're friends with in real life, using kind words and actions just the same as you would in real life, so making it no different just because there's a screen between you and the person that you're talking to or playing with online, telling a grown-up if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, or if you've seen something that you don't like. You might have listed something like making sure that you ask permission before buying things or downloading apps, before playing certain games or watching certain content online. Those things are all fantastic, and you might think to yourself, well, I am doing everything right, there are no risks left for me. But I want you to consider this. Even if you're following those things, if you're spending too long on your devices, what could become a problem? We often talk about screen time, and you've probably heard your grown-up saying, oh, that is too much screen time, or I'm not seeing you on that screen again. And again, you might think to yourself, oh, it's not that bad. Nothing bad is happening to me. I'm following all the correct rules. I'm not staying on longer than I think is okay, so why are grown-ups nagging me about being on the screen too long? I wanted to show you this video again. You might remember this from last year. It's called Hey, Time's Up, Gran. And in this video you can see that Gran actually struggles a little bit with thinking about how long she should be on the screen, and you'll see some of the things that she misses out on. So this is Hey, Time's Up, Gran.
Hey, time's up, Gran. Bye, Gran. See you later.
Bye, darlings. Oh, how do you do that?
Hey, Gran, guess what? I won the science prize.
Not now, Maya.
You didn't even look. Gah! Ta-da! Look, Gran, I'm you.
I'll make you a snack in a minute, dear.
What? Hey, Gran, look what I can do. Woo!
I said I'd be with you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 hours ago.
Look what we found, Gran. Can we keep it?
No!
Oh.
You two spend far too much time on those screens. Switch them off now.
Yeah, we will.
If you will.
So today we're going to talk about how much is too much. Over to you, Jack.
What? Oh, yeah. If someone spends too much time on a screen, it can make people around them feel sad and ignored. Over to you, Maya.
And you can miss out on real life. Sure, the internet's amazing, but it's still going to be there tomorrow. So, it's good to work out how much time to spend on screens in your own house. And if you don't know, ask a grown-up.
Stay smart.
Switch off. Be kind.
Ahem.
Great. So we learnt a few interesting things in that video. I mean, apart from anything else, Gran was genuinely missing out on some amazing experiences in the real world by spending too much of her time just looking at her device. Although she'll have been able to do some amazing things on her device, and they will have offered some amazing entertainment, some of those things can't replace what was going on right in front of her. And actually, some things started to happen. Her relationships weren't as strong as they could have been. She wasn't listening the best way that she could. Sometimes she was getting a little bit cross about being interrupted, and that was changing her behaviour, which also isn't good. Now, you might think to yourself, that's fine, but this doesn't apply to me, Mr. Yates. I don't spend too long online. But I wanted to read you some statistics. This was done by a company called Ofcom, and they spoke to children. They did a big survey about what people were doing, and apparently 96% of children watch television for 15 hours a week, at least 15 hours every single week. That's 15 hours of screen time just with the television. 40% also play games on a screen for 6 hours a week. 53% go online for an additional 8 hours a week. 48% of children are watching YouTube. And this sounds like a huge amount of time. So although you might think to yourself, well, that's not me, I'm not on it very long, I want you to have a really careful think about how much time you do spend online. For example, how long do you spend watching television? I'd like you to think about a typical day. It might be that when you get up, you're allowed to watch television for a little bit of time, or it might be that having a bit of downtime when you come back from school, you'll be watching the television for a little bit. But I want you to add up in a typical day how many minutes you are spending on the television. And then I want you to do exactly the same, please, but this time think about any other screen. So it might be a games console, it might be on a tablet or a phone, an iPod Touch, that sort of thing. How much more of your day are you spending looking at a screen? It might only be in 10-minute chunks. It might be a laptop when you're doing homework or mathletics, but I'd like you to try and add up that time as well, please. And when you have added up that time, I want you to try and times that by 7. So we get a sense of how many minutes or hours you're spending on your device in a week. You might need a teacher to help guide you through this, and it might be that your teacher just picks one of you as an example for how long we're spending online. And then times that number by 4 and see how many minutes we are spending looking at a screen in a month. And if you can, times that number by 12 and see how many minutes we are spending on a screen during a whole year. Now, lots of these tiny chunks of time may not feel important during the day, but when you think about how many minutes you've spent over the course of a week, month or year looking at a screen, that can be detrimental. And it could just be like Gran, because it can become a problem. It can become a problem if it's affecting your relationships with others, and it might be something that you can't see straight away, because if you are feeling really compelled to be on your screen, you might get a little bit miserable when someone asks you to come off, you might get cross with them. You could find yourself having arguments about screen time. Well, that is affecting your relationships with others, and it is changing your behaviour. And although you may feel in control of it, I think if you're finding yourself angry or getting upset when an adult's asking you to come off something, or not coming off straight away as you might have done with other activities, well, at that point it has become a problem. It's changing your behaviour and you're not in charge anymore. Okay, well, it's the end of our assembly today, and I hope you've had a little bit of time to reflect on your screen time and how you might be able to wrestle back some control. Make sure that it's not the screen that's in charge, and make sure that that's not making you change your behaviours. And even if it is something that you're really enjoying, remember that the grown-ups that are asking us to do certain things or change certain habits is because they care about us and they want us to stay healthy. And that might be healthy in our bodies, so our eyesight or our sleep, or it might be healthy in our minds, making sure that we're not spending too long thinking about our devices. It might be as well that your grown-up might be guilty, a little like me, of spending too long on their screen, and maybe you want to have a discussion as a family about some rules that you're going to put in place about how long you spend on a screen, or when you are using your screens and when you're not, and that's something you can work through together so that you all have healthy screen time. I would like you now just to pop your hands together, bow your heads if that helps you, as I'm going to say a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for all your fantastic creations. Thank you for the wonderful world, the superb nature that surrounds us. Thank you also for all of the technology that we have, and for being so fortunate that we are able to use these amazing tools. Dear Lord, help us to find the right balance. Help us have patience when we're being asked to do something that we're not sure is correct. Help us to be kind in our words and our actions. In Jesus' name, Amen. Okay, have a super day. This is already, you may have noticed, about 15 minutes of screen time just watching me. Sometimes it's the way we have to do it, but try your best to make sure you're outside and having fun and enjoying the sunshine today as well.